What's up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and I am here today with the review for Rated to Love Season 7, Episode 6. Do you like me? Is the title of the episode, you guys. So, before we go ahead and get into this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date, having me pay for it. At the end of it, do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and also by sharing the video. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's discuss Rated to Love, shall we? All right, guys, so this episode, this season, it ain't given for me personally. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. It's not really given to me. So we see the guys. So the guys are meeting Tommy at the bar. So Tommy is basically telling the men to get with your connections and, you know, ask them the hard questions. Like, what side of the bed do you sleep on? So they're posed to ask the women, you know, meet up with their connections and ask them the hard-hitting questions that you want to know about someone that you are, you know, actually interested in, right? Because it's a lot more to a relationship than just the love aspect, right? So when Tommy said for the men to meet up with their connections, I was like, who are their connections? I don't think anybody's like really connected to each other in this season, right? So then Tommy tells them, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get you all together and we are gonna have a group dinner date to see where all of you stand. So the first date we have is Blake, Pick Me Susu, Lyndon, Cynthia, Mercedes, and Anthony, right? So they went on an obstacle course. Blake, per usual, at one point when they pulled out the water guns and started playing, he had an issue with it. I was like, God, this man has a stick up his behind. So we see Mercedes and Anthony, they talk, right? So you guys know that Anthony has a daughter, and Mercedes, now here's the interesting thing, right? Because I remember in the mixer, the very first episode, she was ready to be a stepmother. But now in this episode, she's saying that, you know, Anthony basically has everything all together in his life, and she just wonders, you know, she's just a little bit worried, a little bit apprehensive about that, right? And he tells her, you know, we could possibly share. And I was like, share what? Never mind, it ain't got nothing to do with me. So then we move over and we see Lyndon talking to Pick Me Susu, right? Now, with Pick Me Susu is only interested in Blake. The reason why Pick Me Susu is interested in Blake is because of that bracelet, that name Susu, and that's it. It's like, girl, this man has not shown you any type of attention on camera. Let me preface this by saying, on camera, we ain't saw nothing from Blake. Off camera, they could be different. I don't know, and I don't, honest to God, care. So, now mind you, Lyndon and Pick Me Susu have exchanged numbers, but she doesn't really text him, and it ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't even care, to be quite honest with you, right? So then we see Lyndon. So Lyndon was talking to Mercedes, and, you know, he's asking Mercedes, do you like me? I was like, wow, there we go back to the second grade. Check yes or no if you like me in the box. But she said that from Lyndon, she sees him with the other women that he has a connection with. I don't know which women those are, but the women that she sees him with, from him, she doesn't get that same vibe. She gets a friendship vibe from him. I'm like, okay, that's fine, right? So then we see Pick Me Susu. So Pick Me Susu is with Blake. And in this particular moment, Pick Me Susu is, you know, touching on Blake. Then she at one point kissed Blake. And I was like, ma'am. And then she even said that she got a boyfriend. I was like, I don't know if I would be bragging about that. This man is not showing any kind of anything towards you. But okay, if that's what Pick Me Susu feels, I'm gonna let Pick Me Susu have it. Let's pause here and move forward. So next up, you guys, Jeffrey and Blake went on a date with each other, and Jeffrey, each week I get on Jeffrey about the makeup, right? This week it's the makeup and the hair, because I felt like it was a weave or a wig, one of the two. But over here, you can see her real hair. But then back here, it's like it's not her hair, all of it. It was like whoever did that did a terrible job, right? So you guys know now that Jeffrey and Blue have a connection with each other. I'm like, really? It's giving very much force since the last episode, but no, it is what it is. So Jeffrey, basically, she's telling Blue to be more assertive toward her. And when he got up from the table and went around and was holding her hand, I was like, this just seems forced. It just doesn't give authentic. It just gives me forced. And I ain't really here for it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments about that, right? So then we move over and we see Morgan and Lyndon. So they went on a date with each other, right? So she wants to feel more from Lyndon. She wants more in the chemistry, romance. She wants more from Lyndon as opposed to Tony. And I was like, here's my thing. We're going to talk about Tony in just a minute. But I'm confused where the ladies are getting anything from Tony. Tony is a chameleon. Tony is shape-shifting himself to be what he thinks the women want from him. That's all it is. Nothing less, nothing more, right? So now Morgan did say that in her last relationship, because, you know, Lyndon mentioned the fact that she said that she hasn't been in love, but she wasn't a long-term relationship. But the reason why she wasn't in love with that person is because she didn't trust him. And I don't see anything wrong with that. But she did tell Lyndon that opposed to the other connections that she has, she feels that she can be more open to him. I think the only big issue with a lot of the women in Lyndon is his work schedule, with him still working at the bar. I think that's a lot of the women's apprehension. So then we see Tony. So Tony is on a date with Marcia, and Tony is telling Marcia that when it comes to Morgan is more a little, you know, aggressive. I don't want to say that word aggressive, but she's more, I guess, like, come here. And I was like, really? I haven't really saw it. But okay, if that's what Tony wants to say. But Tony is playing games. Like, that's all it is for me with Tony. I don't see Tony being intentional with any of the women. Like I just said a few minutes ago, I see with Tony that Tony will shapeshift into whatever he thinks that the woman likes, right? That's what he's going to do. And I'm just not sure how Marcia doesn't see it, how Morgan doesn't see it, and then especially Jonique. Girl, he lets you cry and like, oh, you're going to make a brother cry. Never mind. Never to the mind. I'm going to pause here and move over to the next date. All right, you guys. So the next date, we see Tony, we see Jeffrey, we see Jonique, and we see Mark Anthony, right? So they're talking about the process, and Jonique is saying that the process for her, it's a bit overwhelming. And I actually believe that process would be overwhelming for anybody because, like I say all the time, Ready to Love is a fast-paced speed dating, right? Even with speed dating, you have maybe 5 minutes to get to know the person, right? But this is speed dating on steroids. So then they asked Jeffrey, how are you with the process? So Jeffrey says she's very present, but she overthinks things. And I was like, I wonder if never mind. I still don't know where I stand with the Jeffrey and Blake situation. To be honest with you guys, I honestly don't care about the Jeffrey and Blake situation, but I just don't 100% know where I stand in that predicament, right? But let's go ahead and keep talking, right? So they asked Tony what he's looking for. Tony says he's in the process looking for a wife. I was like, bullshit. You are not looking for a wife. I just don't buy that. Nothing about Tony screams he wants to be someone's husband. Nothing. So then Jonique is talking about the fact that she likes alpha men, right? She wants someone that's going to lead the family, protect the family, and all that kind of stuff. But she doesn't want someone who's arrogant and cocky. Well, the person that's sitting in front of you is very arrogant and very cocky. I don't know how she doesn't see that from Tony. Tony, and I think what it is he masks his arrogance because he's very arrogant. He's very arrogant and very cocky and very full of himself. And it's going to come up in a few minutes in this episode when he's very, very, very full of himself, right? So Jonique was talking about Mark Anthony and the fact that she doesn't believe that Mark Anthony is there for the right reasons. And I was like, girl, you questioning the wrong person. Tony is not here for the right reasons. You need to talk about Tony because, girl, Tony is not here for the right reasons whatsoever. Like, nothing about Tony is authentic. He's just not it. He's just really not it. Nothing screams authentic with Tony. So we're going to pause here and wrap up the episode, you guys, and move over to the dinner date, the group dinner date. All right, you guys, so we get the group dinner date. So everyone shows up for the group date. Ooh, the fashion choices. I have nothing to say about the fashions, but the fashions are just not fashioning, right? So at one point we saw Morgan and Lyndon talking, right? So Tony in his interview, he's talking about the fact that, she has a connection with him, Lyndon that is, right? But, he gave off very much, well, basically, he ain't me. And I'm like, oh, the arrogance and the cockiness has come out, right? So then we see Susu and her and Anthony were talking, right? And all I wanted to do with Susu, pick me Susu, girl, your wig was just sitting, it was sliding back. I wanted you to just pull that wig down just a little bit, right? Now here's the thing that threw me with Pick Me Susu, right? So Pick Me Susu was talking to Anthony and talking about outside of the process, she gets a different Anthony, but in the process, he's different. I'm like, girl, I think anybody with working eyes can see that you are only interested in Mr. Blake. So, because when Pick Me Susu talks to the guys, it's monotone, it's dry, it's nothing. Like when she was talking to Lyndon in the group date, she wasn't giving Lyndon anything. It was just like, well, you gave me your number and I just don't know what the good schedule is. But when you talk to Blake, it's more lively, it's more energetic, it's you touching him, it's you trying to get a kiss from him, and you're getting closer to him. But with the other men, you are not doing anything with them. It is Blake, and I'm still like, girl, what has Blake shown to you besides a gift, which means he's trying to buy your affection, and then he gave you a bull-ass nickname, Susu. I gave you a nickname, Pick Me Susu. You like me? Like, Pick Me Susu, she literally screams, pick me, pick me, pick me. That's literally all Pick Me Susu does, is just scream, pick me, right? Pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. That's all I get from Pick Me Susu, right? So Tommy came in and told everybody, so I've talked to Brother Andre. He called me up on the phone, and he is COVID free. Yes, he is. So he is now rethinking leaving the process. And I was like, huh? Say what now? Just run that back for me right quick, right? So he had COVID, and it wasn't a severe case of COVID, right? So why did he leave the process in the first place? Because last season when, I forget who the girl was that had COVID, she missed the mixer, and then we saw her in the next few episodes. So why didn't he just say, let me, stay out of the process until my COVID test comes back negative and I come back? Andre had a girlfriend. I believe Andre had a girlfriend, and Andre had to go home and break up with that girl before she found out he was on this show. So Tommy asked them how do they feel about him coming back. So basically everybody was like, yeah, bring him back. Y'all want me to call him up on the phone? All right, Andre, say hi to everybody. Now mind you, Tommy didn't put that phone on speaker. I'm like, Tommy, you ain't fooling me. Andre is in the back somewhere, right? And lo and behold, out comes Andre. And everybody's like, yay, Andre! I was like, no, Andre, you still got that hair with that Tyler Perry mic on your forehead. Why, sir? And I was so confused with the men. The men were cheering as well. And I was like, why in the hell are y'all cheering? That means whatever woman he was potentially interested in, he now once again has another shot at that woman. Jeffrey, Cynthia, that's it. But he now has a chance with them again, so why are y'all cheering? I can understand why the women were cheering. The women that liked him, I understood it, right? But he's back in the process, right? So Tommy tells them that this week, one man and one woman will go home. So Tommy says that I want y'all to tell me you're good and you're bad. And okay, so we do that. So Andre starts first, right? So Andre was saying that when he left the process, basically everybody checked on him with the exception of Mercedes. I don't really have an issue with that. If you guys do, let me know. But I don't have an issue with that because you left the process. So she was strengthening her connections with other people. Now, could she have texted you and said, how are you doing? Yes, but to be intentional with you, bro, you ain't on the show. unless we gonna see this and come to the reunion and say we're together. But I'm on her side, right? So then Jeffrey and Marcia said that they don't feel like they have a connection with Anthony. And honest to God, I can kind of see it, right? Because we've talked about this numerous times, the fact that they don't show Anthony on the show. So that's why I've wondered, does Anthony have any connections with anybody? We don't know anything about Anthony. So then Cynthia and Jonique both say that they don't really have a spark with Mark Anthony. And I was like, okay. So all the men basically said that they ain't connecting with Pick Me Susu. No shock there, right? So then Tommy went to talk to Blake, and Blake talked about Jonique and the fact that she wants kids, and he can't give it to her. But it's not just Jonique. It's Morgan, it's Mercedes. It's a lot of the other women want kids too. So I don't know why he just singled out Jonique, right? I don't know why he did that. So then he talks about the fact that, Pick Me Susu had told him the things that Jeffrey said, and he says that that's not true. Jeffrey says it's true, you guys. Who do you guys believe? I don't know who to believe. I don't care, really and truly, to be honest with you guys. So then she addressed Blake and Pick Me Susu, and the ish went left right from there. And that's really all we got for this episode, you guys. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments below, you guys. Subscribe to the channel, turn your post notifications, and share the video, you guys. Share the video, you guys. Oh, Jesus. Kind of choked a little bit. Share the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn your post notifications on, and share the video. And until the next time, stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, wash your hands, be blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. And you guys, I will be going live today to do the review. I'm not doing a review, but we're going to go live later today at 5 p.m. Central Time or 5:30, depending on if I have to change the time. It might be 5 o'clock or 5:30. Right now, it's tentatively for 5 o'clock, but I may have to push it back or not. I haven't made up my mind yet, but join me between 5 and 5:30 so we can discuss Married at First Sight and Married at First Sight and Ready to Love. And I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.